Hello students, welcome back in this class. Today in this session we will study the remaining part of the chapter The 100 Dresses. And this chapter, as we had studied in previous lecture, this chapter is about a girl named Wanda who claims to have 100 dresses, and her classmates made fun of her that she was always seen wearing the same dress. So her classmates found her name to be funny. So students, let's we start to read the remaining part of the chapter, The 100 Dresses. As for Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that she had was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually was somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggin's height or have a funny name. Maddie didn't like the idea of making fun of the number of clothes and accessories Wanda possessed, not because. And students, it is told here that Maddie was poor herself. She wore clothes that were given to her by someone else, but she was not as poor as Wanda, and she didn't live in Boggin's Heights and did not even have a weird name as Wanda Petronsky. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them round and saying nothing herself. Not that she felt sorry for Wanda exactly, she would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy had not invented the dress game. So here it is told about Maddie. She didn't feel very comfortable teasing Wanda, and when Peggy used to ask Wanda those questions, she would silently count the marbles in her hand, pretending to play with them. She didn't give attention to them, to the asking of the question of Maddie. If that dress game had not been invented, Maddie would have never known about the very existence of Wanda. So she felt uncomfortable not because she cared about Wanda, but because she was worried this could be next. So although she was not senseless enough to say she had 100 dresses, but suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. Not as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. So here it is told about Maddie because she cared about Wanda and because she was also worried she could be next. Although she was not senseless enough to say she had 100 dresses, she still wished that Peggy did not tease Wanda. Move to next paragraph. Today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Wanda. She worked her arithmetic problem absent-mindedly. 8 times 8, let's see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note because she knew she never would have the courage to speak. Write out to Peggy to say, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. So let's start to explain these paragraphs. Here, absent-mindedly means distracted. So Wanda didn't come that day, and after having waited for her so long, Maddie and Peggy got late for school. Maddie was secretly happy that they could not get a chance to make fun of Wanda. She was lost in her own thoughts and could not study properly. All this time, she kept thinking about writing a note to Peggy, telling her to stop making fun of Wanda, which she did write after finishing arithmetic. And she wanted to write a note because she knew she did not have the guts to say it on her face, right? Suddenly she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girl. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress that she had on, and Maddie would have to say it was on the Peggy's old one that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with a new trimming so no one in the room 13 would recognize it. So here what meanings? Shuttered means shake, tremble, and disguise means to have a different appearance to conceal its identity. So while writing the note to Peggy, Maddie shook at the imagination of her being a new target of Peggy and the girls. She was afraid that they would ask where she got that dress from, which was actually Peggy's dress. Maddie's mother got it transformed with new laces and ribbons so that none of her classmates could identify that. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Wanda. Oh well, Maddie reined her through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. What difference did it make? Slowly, Maddie tore into bits the note she had started. She was Peggy's best friend, and Peggy was the best liked girl in the whole room. Peggy could not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. So here, Maddie wished Peggy stopped having fun with Wanda on her own. Suddenly, she ran her hand through her hair as a gesture to drive away all those thoughts. She said to herself, Peggy is the most liked girl in the room, her best friend, and so she could not be wrong. Thus, she tore and threw that note away. She was also afraid of losing her friend Peggy. So next, as for Wanda, she was just some girl who lived up on Boggins Height and stood alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. Scarcely means hardly or barely. Trimmings, decoration. So after Maddie had cleared her thoughts about confessing to Peggy, she started thinking about Wanda. She thought that Wanda was just another girl living in Boggins Height who hardly spoke to anybody. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with colored trimming. And she remembered another that was brilliant jungle green with a red sash. You had looked like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in a pretended admiration. Here, trimming means decoration. Sash means a long strip or loop of cloths worn over one shoulder or round the waist, especially as part of a uniform or official dress. Here, pretended means not genuine. Admiration, respect, and warm approval. So, after Maddie had cleared her thought about confessing to Peggy, she started thinking about Wanda, and she thought that Wanda was just another girl living in the Boggins Heights who hardly spoke to anybody. So she remembered when Wanda talked about her pale blue dress and jungle green dress paired with a red sash. The girls made fun of her by saying that she had rather looked like a Christmas tree in that dress, right? Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses all lined up in the closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and according to the contest for the girls. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses and for boys of designing motorboats. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that's what everybody thought. She could copy a picture in a magazine or some film star had so that you could almost tell who it was. Oh, Maddie was sure Peggy would win. Let's explain this paragraph. While thinking about Wanda, Maddie began thinking about the drawing contest in which the boy had to design motorboats and the girls had to design dresses. So Peggy was she was sure that Peggy would win and the result were to be announced the next day. when everybody would know what's that. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winner. Then they had no. The next day it was drizzling. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Naturally, on a day like this, they didn't wait for Wanda Petronsky on the corner of Oliver Street, the street that far away under the railroad track and up the hill led to Boggins Height. Here, drizzling means rain lightly and hurried means quick. The day when the result were to be announced, it was raining lightly, and thus the two best friends ran quickly to school without waiting for Wanda, and they were Maddie and Peggy. Generally, they used to wait for her at the Oliver Street that led to Boggins Height, the place where Wanda lived, but they didn't wait that day. They would not have waited for her because the day was crucial as the result were to be announced. Do you think Miss Mason will announce the winner today? Asked Peggy. Oh, I hope so, the minute we get in, said Maddie. Of course you will win, Peg. Hope so, said Peggy eagerly. The minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped. There were drawings all over the room on every ledge and window sill, dazzling colors and brilliant lavish designs, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping paper. So gasp means catch one's breath with an open mouth, owing to pain or astonishment. Ledge, shelf. Windowsill, ledge or sill forming the bottom part of a window. Dazzling, extremely impressive, beautiful or skillful. Lavish, gorgeous. When the best friends entered the classroom, Peggy asked Maddie if Miss Mason would announce the result or not, to which Maddie said yes. And Maddie told her that she believed Peggy would win, but to her utmost surprise, when they entered the class, there were drawings all over the room, brilliant and beautiful and bright. They left everyone in awe. They were surprised. These were the drawings for the contest. There must have been 100 of them all lined up. These must be the drawing for the contest. They were. Everybody stopped and whisked a murmured admiringly. As soon as the class had assembled, Miss Mason announced the winner. Assembled means gathered together in one place for a common purpose. So Miss Mason announced the winner after everyone had settled. Amongst the boys, Jack Vegas had won. He drew an outboard motor which was displayed in room number 12, along with drawing made by other boys, along with the sketches by all other boys. Anyway, they were not taking chances on being late today because today was important. As for girls, she said, although just one or two sketches were submitted by most one girl, and room 13 would be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs, all different and all beautiful. In the opinion the judges, any one of the drawing is worthy of winning the prize. Miss Mason then talked about girls' submission. She mentioned that there was one such girl who had submitted 100 designs, each so beautiful that the judges felt that any out of them was worthy of the good medal, right? So Miss Mason was very proudly announced Wanda as the winner of the competition. So I am very happy to say that Wanda Petronsky is the winner of the girls' medal. Unfortunately, Wanda has been absent from school for some days and is not there to receive the applause that is due to her. Let's hope she will be back tomorrow. Now, class, you may file around the room quietly and look at her exquisite drawing. So, unfortunately, Wanda has been absent from the school for some days and is not there to receive the applause that is due to her. So let's hope she will be back tomorrow And now class, you may file around the room quietly and look at her exquisite drawing. So the children burst into applause, and even the boys were glad to have a chance to stamp on the floor, but put their fingers in their mouth and whistles, though they were not interested in dresses. Look, Peg, whispered Maddie. There is that blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, said Peggy. And here is that green one. Boy, I thought I could draw. So she continued and sadly mentioned that Wanda has been coming since days, hoping that she would be there the next day. She instructed everyone to look at the flawless collection too, which everyone applauded and whistled. Maddie and Peggy even saw the blue dress that Wanda had talked about. It was beautiful. Peggy sighed. I thought I could draw, which means that the drawing, Wanda's drawing, had left her, and it has given a great impact on her mind. So students, that is all about the 100 dresses part 1. I think all you had understood it. Thank you. Study well. Keep learning.